Hey everyone, and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Forgive me for not going live this time round. I'm actually recording this video because I've had a couple of issues with my sound, the sound of my microphone, and some echoes. So I really just wanted to record this one and give it a bit of a playback before I put it out to the public, just in case it has the same issues. But I think I've sorted them out. But yeah, best to be prepared just in case. So anyway, this I'm going to make you a quick little card that I recently presented at my mini catalogue launch party a couple of weeks ago. It's quite a cute little card. In fact, it's using the Cactus Cuties stamp set. Now this little stamp set comes with a matching punch. I'm not actually going to be using the punch today, only because the images that it does punch out actually are smaller than the images that you can see in the stamp set, and I actually want to keep all my images a nice full size this time. So it's going to be some fussy cutting. So once we get to the fussy cutting, I'm going to ask you to probably scroll through unless you want to watch me fussy cut, which is probably not the most exciting thing on the planet. So I'm going to stamp these and fussy cut them during our recording today. So anyway, let's get started. I'll just show you the colours I'm going to be using. I've got some nice greens here. I've got Pear Pizzazz, Old Olive and Garden Green, and some lovely sort of almost South American colours in our Calypso Coral and our Cinnamon Cider. In fact, that's the whole look I'm going for this sort of thing, this card today, sort of a Mexican cantina sort of desert sort of look that I'm actually trying to bring out. I don't actually have an example of this card to show you. I've made a couple of them, but I gave a girlfriend a chance to pick some cards from my stash recently, and she took both of the cards that I'd created with this design. She must have liked them so much. But anyway, we'll get on and you'll see the result at the end. So for this card, I have a basic white card base, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, scored in the middle to make an A4 card. This is actually going to be a what do we call it, landscape card, not the normal portrait. So it's going to go this way. I've also got a piece of basic white cardstock, and it's 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it's 4 inches by 5 5/8. And I've popped this one through in line with my desire to give it a Mexican cantina sort of feel. I've popped this one through the gingham embossing folder, which is really, really sweet, but it has this sort of cross hash checkered sort of pattern to it, which I might be wrong, sort of reminds me of a Mexican cantina or a sort of a desert scene, something like that, sort of the pattern you see on the poncho or something like that. Yeah, it's a bit reminiscent of that to me anyway. So they're the two basic parts of the card. The rest of it is going to be stamped and cut out. So I've just got a piece of good old-fashioned white cardstock here, and I'm going to start stamping our little images. So I've got my cinnamon cider, and I'm going to use my cinnamon cider for all three of these cute little pots. So each of the cactuses has a little pot. You'll probably see it clearer on the stamp set. So those three little pots there, little plant pots, I'm going to be stamping in cinnamon cider. I'm actually going to stamp off, so it's going to be second generation or stamped off. So I'm going to stamp once onto my grid paper and then once onto my paper. So I've got all three of the cute little pots stamped there. I'm hoping, I haven't got my silicone mats in this room at the moment, so I'm hoping they came out okay. And they did. They sort of look sort of a terracotta, sort of a worn terracotta with the stamped off cinnamon cider, which I really quite like. Okay, so let's bring in our cactuses. Got this big sort of double cactus here. Got this little one that looks a bit more like a succulent with some fleshy leaves, and this sort of bulby one here, which is really cute. So I'm going to do those in various shades of green. I've got my garden green here. So I'm going to do Got to remember, don't suppose it matters too much. They're all lovely greens. I'm going to do this big bulby one in garden green. Make sure he fits somewhere so I can fussy cut him correctly. Okay. Then I'm going to do, might do one of these sort of succulents in the garden green as well, since I've got it open. Okay. Then I'll bring in my pear pizzazz. I'll do another one of those little succulents in pear pizzazz. I wanted one sort of light and one dark. Just like that. And then my old olive, I will do, what have I got left? Oh, this guy. So I've got my old olive. Do this one. Okay, I'll wipe those. Okay. Now this sort of short round guy here, which we've done in garden green, I want him to have a couple of little bulbs coming off him, a little couple of shoots, and they're from the stamp set as well. I haven't got them blocked up. Must have forgot. Here we go. So it's just got a little sort of baby cactus coming off of him. So I will do a couple of those. Okay, and then with our Calypso Coral, really wonderful, vibrant colour, I'm going to do some flowers and another little cactus offshoot there. So just to add a bit of brightness to the card. There's a flower, a couple of little flowers and a shoot. I'm going to use those just like that. Okay, so this is all the stuff I'm going to fussy cut, so bear with me for a moment. I'm going to grab my scissors. As I say, you may want to fast forward a couple of minutes. I suppose that's the good thing about recording a video. You guys can fast forward and reverse whenever you want. Just clean off my stamps. Okay, grab my scissors. Okay, shouldn't take too long. All the shapes are lovely and sort of uniform and smooth. There's nothing particularly fussy in the fussy cutting. But I do want a very, 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 very tiny white border around the edge, which, as I said, is why I'm not using the punch in this case, because it takes it right back down and makes them very small. And I want them all in this sort of the same sort of scale. We've got our 3 pots in our weathered terracotta. Yeah. And we'll start our cactuses. We'll start with this succulent looking one. Yes, I don't know what's happening with my sound at the moment. I have changed rooms. This is a larger room and probably a little bit echoier, more echoey, if that's a word, than my little craft room. I'm trying to make it work because it is such a nicer space. It does have its challenges. Like most changes, you have to make adjustments. So we'll see. I'd hate to have to move back now that I've got used to having a little bit of extra space. It's quite spoilt me. Whether I can arrange something where I just move back to that room to do the recordings or something, but that's requires some desk moving and stuff, which is a little bit painful. We've got our little dark succulent just about done. There. Okay. As I say, they're not hugely complicated, fussy shapes. Pretty round, pretty smooth. Trickiest bit, I think, is this little flower that we're just about to do, both of them. But still, that's not too bad. Two little buds. I'm assuming that that's how cactuses reproduce. So I'm not a big cactus person. Never actually possessed one, I don't think. But I do see them budding off like this. Somebody might tell me in the comments. I suppose there's as many different ways as there is cactuses. Okay, nearly there. So as I say, I first demonstrated this card at my mini catalogue launch. Our mini catalogue is current at the moment. Lots of great seasonal products there. Yes, so it's some really nice new flowers for our stash, but also some different ones like these cactuses. There's a really cute greenhouse one which I've actually demonstrated a couple of times, which I'll absolutely love. So there's a couple of masculine designs, something for everyone really. And of course we still have our wonderful annual catalogue available if you've still, got a wish list from that. Definitely not too late to grab those. And Celebration is currently on. In the South Pacific we have it because we had some hiccups at the beginning with the supply lines. We've got it extended to the 16th of March. So if you're watching before the 16th of March, you've still got a chance to jump in, place an order for at least $90 Australian and grab a Celebration freebie or two. But yeah, don't dawdle because all of the Celebration items are while stocks last. Okay, fussy cutting done. How long did that take? About 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so here we are. We've got all our bits and pieces. Right, what I'm going to do is bring back our card base and our little gingham embossed panel. I'm going to grab my glue and I'm going to glue the embossed panel just straight to my card base. Nothing too fancy there. Don't think it really matters what side. It's the same either way. Could pop that on dimensionals if you wanted to, but I think there's enough happening. We're going to put the sentiment on dimensional, so that's okay. Now that card base is slightly skew. I might just trim that down a wee bit. One side is larger than the other, so I might just bring it back down. That's better. Just makes it a bit hard to get the embossed panel straight if my card base isn't even. There we are. Okay, so we've got our little Mexican-inspired white panel. So let's bring in our pots. So I'm going to put the pot. Actually, what I'm going to do first is, and this is something I kept doing wrong or incorrectly in my other one, I'm going to add my sentiment first, and that's going to help me sort of judge where I'm going to start my pots. I'm going to use the Just a Note sentiment from the stamp set. It's really cute. Pop that on a block. Going to use our Calypso Coral just for something a bit brighter. I'm going to trim this down to about 1/2 inch thick. So I'll just stamp it first and then we can trim it down. Might bring my trimmer in, just my little guillotine if I can work that out right. So just chop that off at the end. And then about 1/2 inch there, that's pretty good. Okay, so we've just got Just a Note. Now if I bring in my banner punch, my triple banner punch, I'm just going to banner the ends of that. Just for something a wee bit special. Okay, a little splodge there. I might get my rubber. Where's my rubber? My eraser. It's just a little bit of glue, I think. There we are. Okay, so Just a Note. So I'm going to position that. I'm going to use some dimensionals. Just use my end bits there. And then once I've got this on, I'll be able to position my little pots so I can maintain the right proportions. So I'm going to pop that in the middle, about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch from the bottom. There we are. Now we bring in our pots. Now I'm just going to glue the pots. You could put those on dimensionals as well, but I'm just going to use some glue. If I can find it, there it is. Just pop the 3 pots, no particular order, just along. Might start in the middle. No, I'll start in the edges so I can get the middle right. So position that. Make sure that this guy who's quite tall can fit. Yep. I'm going to go too far up and have him hanging over the top. And this one, same sort of distance from the edge, lining it up with the same part of the pattern for in our gingham pattern, just lining it up so it's the same sort of distance from the top and the bottom. That's about right. Bring in our middle one. I just put the 2 sides on first so that then I can position the middle one in the middle of the 2. There we are. There we are. So that's our 3 pots. Now we'll put the interesting bits in. So we've got our nice big tall cactus guy there. So I'm going to pop him, push him down a little bit just so he has a bit of space at the top. So pop him down because he's going to have a cute little flower come out of the top of him. Here we are. Then our, which one now? Our big bulby one. Put those guys. bulby guy. And now these. Look at my finger. Here we are. So our cactus pot's all ready. So as I say, we've got some extra little buds, which I'm going to pop on big round bulby guy there. And I'm also going to pop this flower on him as well, just in between the two there. There we are. And this sort of Calypso coral oval, I'm going to pop on here. And finally our little, looks like a funny long 4-leaf clover almost, or 3-leaf clover. I'm going to pop that in there. Here we are. So that's our 3 cactuses. And that's our card done. I hope you like that one. I really, really like that. I'm hoping that that's nice and focused for you. I haven't put any bling or anything like that on that card. You could probably do that if you wanted to add some extra shine, but I haven't. I think it's I quite like it sort of, just sort of earthy and organic without too much else on there. Anyway, that's my card for you today. As I say, that is the Cactus Cuties Stamp Set. As I say, there is a punch to go with it, but I haven't used it today. So if you like that one, hopefully you'd like to give that sort of thing a bit of a go. I'm going to try and make up some more designs with that one. I'm quite taken with those images. So anyway, I'm glad hope you enjoyed that today. And I hope my volume worked, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.